Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I pass over to our team of moderator and speakers, allow me to take some brief moment to explain some ground rules to everyone so that we are able to have a wonderful and insightful session today in regards to our topic. Number one, as you can see, we value privacy, meaning to say that all communications are strictly between you and us. So I know that some of you can be a bit shy, so that's totally fine. Please feel free to use the chat box on the right hand side to communicate with us. Number two, we crave feedback. We want to always strive to improve. So again, type away your queries and comments in the chat box. If you don't address it in the session, we will definitely follow up later. So again, use the chat box to your full advantage to ask away any questions to me, my colleague, and our partner over there in Fineopolis. Number three, we reward patience. Again, thank you for making the time. I know you just had a very big lunch and you're all sleepy, but if you are able to bear with us, handout awaits those who stay till the end. We'll share over some good insights together with the slide that we're presenting at the end of the show. So please stay till the end. And number four, and most importantly, we prize engagement in a sense that we have prepared a series of questions to see who's paying attention, those who is not dozing off, and a lucky person may bring home an e-voucher worth $50. So again, try to answer the questions the best that you can. And most importantly, have fun in the session. I'll pass over to Ms. Bilkis for the next section. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farouk, for the intro. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Bilkis Lawal Shuaib, consultant at Fineopolis Al Mali, and your moderator for this session. Thank you all for your attendance and welcome to this session, which is our second webinar series. If you are present in our last session, then you know how very insightful our sessions can be. But then if this is your first session, then it's my pleasure to welcome you on board. In today's session, we'll have two seasoned experts in the fields of Islamic finance and fintech, and that each be contributing their expertise to today's topic, which is enhancing financial inclusion using Shariah-centric eWallet. Today's event, as the second session in our webinar series, Fineopolis Al Mali has collaborated with a prominent fintech firm in Malaysia by the name of SoftSpace. For those of you who are yet to get familiar with both companies, please allow me to briefly introduce them. Starting with, Fineopolis Al Mali is one of the leading Islamic finance consulting firms and is created from a merger between two globally renowned firms, Al Mali and Fineopolis. It's headquartered in Dubai with a strong presence in the GCC, Europe, and Africa, and as well as reputable ties in CIS region and Southeast Asia through its business units that's operating in Kuala Lumpur. On the other hand, we have SoftSpace, which is a leading fintech player in the Asian Pacific region, and it's also the world's leading soft PaaS player, and is headquartered in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. It has 50 institutions across 23 markets that adopt its solution. SoftSpace simplifies the complexity of financial infrastructure and creates value-added services for businesses to expand their growth through various fintech as a service offering. In this session, we have our first speaker, which is Mr. Karim Chuchan. He's our director at Fineopolis. Mr. Karim has been in the industry for 17 years plus, and he's gotten a vast experience in the Islamic banking sector. He's also well-versed when it comes to financial technologies and its contemporary use. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today, Mr. Karim. Also, our second expert is Ms. Lina Rashid. She'll be representing SoftSpace, and she's their head of Alliance. She has a master's degree in telecommunications and networking engineering, and also a professional certificate in Islamic finance from INSEF. She's gained over 10 years of working experience, and through her contribution to SoftSpace, Ms. Lina has achieved prominence as a woman entrepreneur by successfully acquiring and cultivating key business relationships and partnerships. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today, Ms. Lina. So based on their varied backgrounds and diversity of their experiences, our speakers will showcase from different angles how we can enhance financial inclusion using Shariah-centric e-wallets. Before I start, I'd like to reiterate on what Mr. Farouk said earlier. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and they will be addressed during the question and answer session. With that, I'd like to proceed by inviting Mr. Karim to educate us on today's topic. Mr. Karim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. A pleasure today to starting the session, discussing about the role of wallets in financial inclusions. The session won't be technical. I think the technical part and the best part will be the second part of the session. So to start, second slide, please. I have that. Okay, sorry. First time I'm using this platform, so I'm trying to do my best. So let's start to discuss about the potential of the digital payment before starting discussing about e-wallets. We need to assess what we are talking about and what are the opportunities that we have today. We are talking about the e-wallet. E-wallets is part of the global digital payment market, which is estimated to be around 500 billion USD in 2016, and is expected to reach a very important size of outstanding, more than 1 billion by 2025. This represents an increase of 10% growth between the period 2017 and 25. Now we have different growth patterns depending on the region we are talking about. In US and Europe, the e-wallet is starting slowly. It's something that was competed by the payments financial institutions, which was well established by the regulator, where licenses for the payment institution was facilitated with a low capital, which enabled a lot of sponsors and project owners to launch their payments platforms. And this payment platforms enabled, let's say, opening card accounts and issuing cards, virtual cards, and enabling a total ecosystem which compete with the e-wallets. In other jurisdictions, this kind of regulatory framework is more limited, which give more push for the e-wallets. Typically, if you talk about India and China, the e-wallet has a very big market. This also is explained by the fact the use of the smartphone and the lack of financial services access. Many regions in India and China are not covered by banks and by financial services, which enable, let's say, where e-wallets can be enabler to include or the non-banking or the unbanked population. And globally, aside of the Sharia compliance side of it, generally e-wallets are, let's say, financial inclusion enablers and helping low-income populations to have an account, a digital account, and to process with payments and financial services. In China, we have very good success stories talking about Alipay or WeChat Pay, where indeed the this two e-wallets became like a lead in the local market, supported by the marketplaces, the e-commerce marketplace. Now, this is the side of the market, digital market in general. Now, if you look into the potential, and coming back to the potential for Muslim population, the Muslim population is projected to be more than 6 billion by 2030. This represents more than 26% of the world total projected population, which bring us to a serious market where, let's say, an example of the digital e-wallet offering, even with a low penetration rate, could, in terms of outstanding, having a big volumes and outstandings. And all the profitability, by the way, of e-wallets are coming from volumes, because we want to see later that e-wallets, in terms of their business model, it requires a lot of investment, a lot of technical investment, and the challenge is the profitability. Having a big market is one of the, let's say, the main key success factor to succeed e-wallets. Saying that,
Assalamu alaikum. I think we have encountered upon a small technical difficulty. We'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes for Mr. Karim to come back on board before we continue, okay? Please bear with us. I'm afraid it's like me. I accidentally exited.
Oh,
You can be.
what I mean, but
Mine.
Assalamu alaikum. I don't know when the communication was interrupted.
You were in the previous slide. Welcome back on board. Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I was exited from the platform. Okay, apologize for this. So before moving to the Sharia compliance of an e-wallet, let's agree what is an e-wallet. I mean, briefly. So an e-wallet is a software program which securely store data. This is important to get. I mean, the e-wallet is a platform which focusing on data. And the reason why e-wallet were created at the beginning, like for example PayPal, was to securely store data, which is in the case of PayPal, for example, was the payment card, the debit card or the credit card details through a process called tokenization. And this e-wallet enable, because it's secure, to do payments and secure payments at point of sales. And in terms of terminology, we want to have a kind of two type of digital wallets. We want to talk about e-wallet. Generally, we are talking e-wallet to say it's digital wallet, but we have mainly two type of digital wallets. We have the e-wallet and the mobile wallet. The e-wallet is giving more capacity in terms of being able to proceed not only on mobile, but also could be used from browser. But typically, in terms of deployment, we are doing the same thing. Now, from Sharia perspective, what are the conditions of Sharia compliance? We talk about digital wallet, knowing that digital wallet enable only payments, as we mentioned it. So we need to be sure that there is no riba interest backing these operations, and there is no harar or uncertainty, and there is no gambling. So from the contracting side, we have the client and the merchant. From the client, we can have two type of contracts. We can have a wadi'a or qard hasan, and the merchant we are using a wakala. To explain more the concept of wadi'a, so it's exactly similar to what we are doing in banking when you talk about the current account. So we have two type of contracts. We have a wadi'a contract and we have a qard hasan contract. When it comes to a wadi'a, the money collected by the operator may be used let's say, but in terms of Sharia compliance, we want to say if you are wadi'a, this money will be deposited and the operator cannot use it, cannot use this money, for example, through the banking partner to do financing and so on. So typically the e-wallet companies, they need to have an account with a banking partner because they don't have a bank license. And this money, the banking partner could use this money to simply, for example, place the amount. The e-money operator are collecting a lot of money, and this money could be optimized in terms of treasury, could be, for example, placed in investment instruments. And if you talk about wadi'a, we tend to not allow using this money. This money want to be used as in a kind of ward within the banking partner. But the advantage of such structure is that we can use, for example, the cashback instruments. The cashback instruments is mainly used with the merchants, and this is a kind of motivation for the users to use the e-wallet. Now, if we go to the second structure, which is the Qard Hasan contract, the same principle it is. The operator want to collect the money. And in this case, because of the Qard Hasan, same on the banking side, this enables the operator to use this money. Typically, the operator can decide to invest this money, but on his own responsibility, means the money is still guaranteed to the users of the e-money and the owner of the deposit, but he can place it, for example, based on his full responsibility. Now, still, we saw some halal digital wallets using cashback again, but the majority of the scholars will not be comfortable using cashback instruments while you are under Qard Hasan, for the simple reason is that if it is a Qard Hasan, means that you are giving, indeed, depositing within an e-wallet operator, means that you are giving a loan, zero interest loan to the operator. Now, if you're getting any advantage from this loan, it could be simulated to a riba. So that's why generally we are not comfortable to use in cashback using the Qard Hasan. But hopefully we have the wadi'a principle, which will make it possible. From the merchant perspective, we are talking about the wakala. Typically, indeed, the operator is a kind of agent in order to collect payments on behalf of the merchant from the users. So there is less complications from this side. In terms of, let's say, the functionalities around the payment, of course, the idea, and again, motivated by the fact that the e-wallet operators need and to bring the profitability and to go to the profitability, they were obliged in a way to diversify and try to have a kind of partnership with the public sector. Typically, we have examples of e-wallet, even in Malaysia, having a kind of big mugs with the tolls and with the parkings. We can have also a kind of operators working more on the e-commerce side. And by the way, the halal e-commerce is something very important as a prerequisite for the halal, the digital e-wallet is a prerequisite for the halal e-commerce. We think that today we need to have champions, we need to have big operators in this sector in order to, let's say, ensure the Sharia compliance for the whole value chain. The classic operators are not necessarily in line with the halal and the Sharia compliance specifications and requirements. That's why there is a big opportunity for the halal digital e-wallets in order to serve the halal e-commerce. Now, aside of the payments, we can see the e-wallet also as a platform, as a marketplace for other financial services. And a lot of e-wallet operators, they try to use their channels they establish in the network, they establish in order to service other financial instruments through partners of because their license will not enable them to do such kind of services. Take the example of the investment, for example. We have in Malaysia a digital e-wallet called Touch and Go Group. And through this e-wallet, we can invest up to, a minimum as little as 10 ringgits in Sharia compliance funds. We can also have financing. We can have microfinancing. We can use the e-wallet also for collecting payments from other third parties. E-wallet also is an enabler in the sense that it connects the different stakeholders working in the digital sector. The basic, let's say, stakeholders we can imagine are mosques and some digital halal e-wallets identified such an opportunity. And for example, we have Link Asia in Indonesia who launched the first in kind Sharia compliant e-wallet in 2021, and they partnered with more than 1,200 mosques and waqf across the nations. Bringing this to the volumes by each mosque they can have in terms of zakat collection, it can bring to a huge opportunities. GoPay the same with more important network, 800,000 mosques. So to summarize, and sorry, I took more than I should from the time of the session. So typically the halal e-wallets are today a key components in the halal ecosystem generally, and they are starting serving the low-income populations, but they bring them from being a low-income population to being an investor or let's say a microfinance actor who has a loan and is paying his loan and bringing them to the real economy. And a lot of potential is still there. Still, we need to see digital e-wallets working in the field of SMEs. And we need to bring it from the low income to the middle class income and to the productive sector. That's from my side.
Thank you very much, Mr. Karim, for that very wonderful presentation. From listening to you here today, I can see that myself and even the audience too, from the message we've been getting in the chat box, we've been able to get some perspective as to the great potential of e-wallet amongst the Muslim population and also the available use cases. And this is very interesting for, the very developing countries, as you also mentioned. So once again, thank you so much. Before I leave the floor to our erudite speaker, Ms. Lina, I would like to interact with the audience for a few minutes. I have a question for you. And yes, as Mr. Farouk said earlier, there's something to be won at the end of the session, inshallah. So I'm going to give a poll, and let's see how many of us have been very involved in this conversation. Hopefully, majority of us, inshallah. So I'm not sure if you can see my poll, but then the question goes as this. I hope you can all see my poll. Can you all see my poll? Okay. The question goes as this. What is the main driver of the potential of Islamic digital market? The first being increasing relevance of Islamic finance. Second being increasing trends of adherence to Quran and Sunnah. And the third being increasing trends of Muslim population. And this is according to, statistics and also Mr. Karim's presentation earlier today. I can see a majority of people are going for A and B, A and C, but let's see. Okay. A few people have gone for B. Okay. As it is, I'll go on to give the answer, I think. So the answer is C. Unfortunately, a lot of people think it's A, but I think there should be some truth to it. But I think for this presentation itself, the answer is based on the increasing population of Muslims. And so because of the population, there's a market that needs this e-wallet. So yes, we can have one more question, and then we can go on to invite Ms. Lina to the floor. So the question goes as this. Fintech for Islamic finance is an innovation and thus haram. True or false? Okay, majority of people are going for false. Okay then, a majority of the audience are choosing false, and this time around the audience is right. It's false. It's not haram. It's very halal, and it's encouraged even. So with this, thank you all for those who participated in this interactive session. I hope you enjoyed it. And then I would like to invite Ms. Lina to educate us on her own perspective as to how we can enhance financial inclusion using Sharia-centric e-wallets. Ms. Lina, the floor is yours, please.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bilkis. And thank you, Mr. Karim, as well for the very good presentation just now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, and a very good afternoon. It is it's already 3:30 p.m. in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia now. So I hope everyone here are doing well, staying safe and healthy wherever you are. So today I will be sharing a topic on embedded payments, more particularly on e-wallet context for social inclusion. We shall start with a brief introduction of our company. Today I'll be sharing a topic on embedded payments, more particularly on in an eWallet context for social inclusion. So we will start with a brief introduction of our company, SoftSpace, the current landscape, and then we will go to the eWallet platform presentation. So a quick brief on SoftSpace. SoftSpace is based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We are a fintech player serving over 50 financial institutions. We offer a wide variety of payment acceptance solutions and a white label eWallet platform. We are also a leading fintech player in tap-to-phone solution where merchant can use their own Android NFC devices to accept card payments. So we partner with FI, financial institutions, and also non-FI in other countries by licensing our white label digital payment solutions. So meanwhile, in Malaysia, we have an entity called FastPay. You can see the logo of FastPay at the bottom of the screen here, our fully owned subsidiary, who is also the license holder entity for the group. So we do have our own issuing and acquiring solution with the Central Bank of Malaysia. So next, here's our global presence by partnering with key partners as stated here. And we work closely with the major international schemes and also the local processors. Then a quick overview of our FinTech as a Service platform. So as you can see here on the left-hand side is our acquiring solutions where we provide payment terminal and also terminal-less payment acceptance. We also do offer a merchant app solution. And on the right-hand side, is our issuance as a service where we provide our white label e-money solution either via a QR code solution or issuance of physical scheme prepaid card. And all our solutions, whether acquiring or issuing, are embedded with our very own loyalty and rewards program. So now when we talk about driving social inclusion, distributing to the recipients, we often talk about several layers of bureaucracy, which often have multiple management layers stretching from the front to the back end operation. So this will increase problems of coordination and also administration expenses with high cost operation and lack of uniformity. So the standardization of the procedure and application is extremely difficult, with the quality of work may be poor because of lack of specialization. And as you can see here, for example, a manual processing of an insurance application, for example, can take up to 2 hours, means an institution can only cater to a limited number of applicants. So they may be concerned on inability to target and deliver assistance. So hence why payment ecosystem is regarded as a proven fast and efficient delivery of goods and services. In this daily scenario, for example, this guy here wants to buy a coffee. So the whole purchase can be completed in a matter of seconds. Customer inserts their cards at merchant's payment terminal and the transaction is completed. So as simple as that. However, behind the scene, though it might seem seamless from user point of view, there are several major components involved in a single transaction. We have a cardholder, who is a consumer who has been given a card by financial institutions or FI. And this FI is called the issuing bank. So you have the issuing bank here. And next, we have a merchant who is the vendor of the consumer, sells goods or services to the cardholder and accept card payment. We also have an acquiring bank who will provide the hardware and software to the merchants and allow the merchant to process the transactions. While apparently very simple and transparent to the user, this transaction actually involves several flows within these 4 components. And now we talk about fintech as a new financial industry that leverages technology to improve financial activities, or in this case, to improve the service delivery. So zakat is an important component in the social finance system and plays a key role in bridging the socio-economic gap of the ummah. So the user persona that we have here is a single mother named Aisha who has a 7-year-old special need child. While she is eligible for zakat, the problem that she has is the difficulty to apply and to receive social and financial support. So now for the implementation of zakat management. Sharia compliance is a must, and these have been addressed by Mr. Karim in his earlier presentation, where he talked about services and operation layer, talk about contracts, and etc. On my end, the focus here is more on technology layer. With the use of fintech, the zakat authorities may transform themselves to a more efficient zakat service providers to all zakat payers and zakat recipients. And the efficiency of rendering services to the community is also parallel with Maqasid al-Shariah. In principle, proper implementation of zakat management would ultimately improve the socio-economic condition of the Muslims in a state. This is because the priority of zakat institutions is to eradicate poverty in the Muslim society, and therefore proper zakat management is extremely crucial to achieve this objective. So now with the eWallet platform, the purpose of an eWallet is to replicate the functionality of a physical wallet, credit or debit card, like what you can see in the earlier slide when someone purchased a coffee, for example. So with these zakat institutions are able to improve their decisioning with enhanced visibility and control on zakat disbursement. The solutions comes with a white label eWallet app, which can be coupled with a scheme prepaid card, such as Visa, for example. The app comes with a function such as, but not limited to, view history, view user balance, perform reload, and perform peer-to-peer transactions. Solution also comes with a partner and merchant dashboard as issuer and acquirer for zakat institution to view and manage the transactions. We could also offer a merchant or card-linked rewards and loyalty program. The rewards and campaign and the mechanics could also be configured directly from the portal. In the event that the recipient does not have access to mobile devices, we may also look at the deviceless acceptance as the alternative. So next is, remember our user persona, Aisha. Her difficulty is not knowing how and where to apply for the fund. So we have a video here. So you can see that with eWallet, zakat institution will have a more efficient onboarding journey. Recipient can apply anytime and from anywhere via digital onboarding. With proper communication, information and awareness, what Aisha needs to do is to download the relevant eWallet app and get ready with her national ID. So you can see here, the app is scanning Aisha's ID or passport back and forth, and later, Aisha will perform a selfie for verification purpose. Okay, now it's done. The moment Aisha completed the eKYC, or what we call as know your customer onboarding, at the back end, the data will be verified against zakat database to confirm on Aisha's eligibility, and based on the criteria, zakat institution can configure from the portal the amount of zakat funding that Aisha will receive and also the spending criteria. And to function properly, an e-wallet must be funded either via the user's bank account, credit, debit, or via a corporate fund. And in this case, the source of fund will be obtained directly from the zakat fund. And once account creation is successful, Aisha receives confirmation on her account opening and can start to spend according to the configuration. So next, zakat institution, as you can see here, can also issue multiple buckets or multiple virtual accounts to ensure spending based on mandate. A zakat recipient or mustahik may receive different allocation, namely a monthly allowance, childcare support, school support, etc. So based on each bucket, e-wallet platform able to configure the specific merchants or specific goods services for each account. So you can see in the next example, for childcare support, Aisha by right can only spend at the designated special need teaching facility. So in the video here, so when she tries to spend outside of the approved merchant, the transaction will be rejected. So you will see later it will be rejected. There's an error icon here. So this will not only assuring trust, confidence and transparency in zakat administrators, but also on the part of the mustahik or recipients of zakat, as it can be used to ensure that the zakat funds receive in accordance with Maqasid Shariah. For instance, it should not be used to purchase alcohol, cigarettes or other illegal items. And when it comes to monitoring, To improve governance and with better spending visibility, the eWallet platform able to generate spending reports to zakat institutions or other entities and merchant settlement report directly to the merchants. Zakat institution can also monitor via live dashboard on the current spending and user activities. They can view user and merchant details and also able to set, for example, a specific transaction fee incurred at each merchant accepting the eWallet users. So next, while we understand that smartphone and internet penetration are relatively high in most countries, there are still recipients without access to mobile devices. So in this scenario, what we can propose is to use our payment terminals to read the national ID or national issued cards as the user identifier. So you can see here, using our payment terminals that is paired with a mobile phone, you can see that once they insert their national ID, the mobile phone will display the user's identity, such as name, IC number, and what's not. So next, understand this will be based on country-specific requirement, but what we can propose is for the payment terminal to read the national ID while the eWallet issuance system verify the eligibility and amount or the balance of the zakat fund. Once everything is verified and confirmed, then only the transaction will go through the point of sale system. So to maximize the zakat fund, so you can see on the video here, what we can do is we may also include embedded reward to ensure that every dollar dispersed by zakat institution, the value in spending is more than $1. eWallet platform able to issue voucher, stamp-based voucher that can be funded by the merchants accepting the eWallet user. And as zakat institution drives the user to spend at the merchant, means generating more sales to the merchant. So in return, the merchant may also distribute voucher or stamp to reward the users. Yeah. So the rewards here can be configured based on amount or percentage or time of transaction, whether it's weekdays or weekends only, for example. So this will definitely increase the social welfare return. With embedded rewards, this will ensure the mustahiq gets to spend more than the zakat fund that they receive in collaboration with participating merchants that have been vetted and approved by zakat institutions. And once the platform is more mature, to encourage the transition and graduation of the mustahiq or the asnafs, the eWallet can be positioned as the first digital touch points for the mustahiqs. The eWallet can be integrated to other features such as Islamic buy now pay later, microfinancing, employment opportunities, and others. So to recap the whole value propositions, the whole idea is to improve governance, and also provide an enhanced social welfare experience and enhanced control of user with real-time visibility. So zakat institutions also able to locate where the zakat recipients spend and the frequencies of the purchases. So with embedded reward, mustahiq also gets to spend more than what they receive by collaborating with participating merchants. All zakat-related transactions can now be done online at any time as compared to currently or old days where all transactions were done manually. And this can certainly save money and time as compared to the conventional manual service that are bound by time limits. An eWallet platform for us could be served as an important tool to widen the outreach of Islamic social finance instruments such as zakat, wakaf, sadaqah, and etc. to their beneficiaries. So therefore, the benefit of such social funding can be catered to a larger number of Muslims in the society, fulfilling one of the very objectives of the Sharia, which is the protection of property. So therefore, to overcome the problem of transparency, accountability, and efficiency, the use of eWallet platform, fintech technology, is seen as one of the most practical ways to address the said issues. Yeah, thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you. Once again, thank you so much, Ms. Lina. Thank you for taking us through the journey of Aisha and Ahmed and showing us the technicalities of how it happens in the tech side and how we can adopt this technology from the tech side. I know I definitely enjoyed it. And just to catch up with the audience once again, dear audience, I have some questions just to see if we're on the same page, if we are all enjoying the session. So bear with me for 2 more questions, okay? So I'm not sure, can you see the poll? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So this question is from Ms. Lina's presentation, and it goes, what is one of the benefits of Shariah-centric eWallet? Number 1, it gives access to financing for SMEs. It increases adherence to Quran and Sunnah. And lastly, it increases dominance over conventional finance. Please feel free to choose your answer. Don't worry, your name is not visible, so whatever answer you choose is fine. But then we'll get to know the correct answer afterwards. Okay, well, I think we have a tie in the audience. A majority of them going for A and C. For this question, the answer is A. It gives access to financing for SMEs. We have one more question in this regard. So, how can a Sharia-centric e-wallet approach enhance disbursement of zakat and other social aids? Number 1, through the reliance on Islamic finance principles, through the reliance on visibility and control, through the reliance on Islamic contracts and product structure. Okay. 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 A majority of people are going for B, and yes, the answer is B, reliance on visibility and control mechanics. Thank you all that have participated in this interactive session. Thank you. Now we'll go on to the question and answer session. Should you have any question, please feel free to type it in the chat box and I'll read out for our esteemed speakers. Audience, we want to hear from you also, because you've heard from us. We would like to hear from you. And I'll be sending another poll to your chat box. Kindly choose the answer. We'd like to know what motivated you to register to this webinar. Are you interested in developing your general knowledge on the topic? Do you want to explore your options? Are you looking to do something in the next 12 months? Do you have an active project you want to work on? Or not a priority for our business? We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know what you think and what you think about what inspired you to be a part of our webinar. And this concludes our session. I'm very much thankful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much to the speakers that were here and that shared their knowledge with us regarding Islamic Sharia-centric e-wallet. And thank you all for those who attended. I know it's very early in some part of the world, especially in Africa, so your attendance really means a lot to us. And in Malaysia also, everybody that joined, as I said earlier, it's lunch and we're all tired and we like to sleep. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you, and we'd like to see you next time, inshallah, next month in our upcoming session. Ma'asalam. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Quick one, you'll be directed to a quick form for your feedback. Appreciate your response on this. And then you are dismissed. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for our guests. Assalamu alaikum.